rated mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to the Patriot Angle Podcast, a show unfiltered, unscripted, raw. Your hosts, Mike and Rooster.
All right, guys, welcome to another edition here to the podcast. Hope you all tuned into the podcast last night on Twitch. It was an interesting show, more or less. But welcome to today's audio podcast on Spotify, Anchor, Google, Apple, anywhere you hear a podcast, we're out there, guys. Every major platform. Guys, I want to talk about this new Biden administration scenario. Oh boy, he's back in the news again, guys. Got the Tom Cruise glasses without the mask, with the mask, without the mask. I mean, the man doesn't know where he's at half the time. It's quite embarrassing. But now, yeah, Joe Biden on the Rose Garden just yesterday came out for a press conference. Oh wow. I'm really, really surprised that he knows what those are. So yeah, Mr. Biden out there with his Tom Cruise glasses. Yeah, he looks like the older version of Tom Cruise from Top Gun. Yeah, he's coming out there. Top Gun Biden announces new CDC guidance on wearing masks outdoors. Oh, you got to listen to this crap, guys. This is stupid. This is stupid. Really, really stupid stuff. I mean. What's the world coming to, guys, right? You got a president that's going to announce new guidelines. Oh, you don't need to wear masks. You need to wear masks outdoors. It could spread 6 feet away. It might not travel 6 feet away. It could be up in the cloud, a space cloud of 6 feet, but it only stays within 6 feet. Yeah, this is your president here. Your president that's in the Oval Office. Yeah. 16 Pennsylvania Avenue. Doesn't know what a fucking an apple versus a listen to this shit.
You're outdoors. You need, and not in a big crowd. You no longer need to wear a mask.
So what do New Yorkers think about?
Yeah, pause it right there. You don't no longer need to wear a mask, folks, when you're outdoors. You don't need to wear a mask. Yeah. Apparently, Joe is getting the science. It took him about, what, a year and a half, I guess, right, to understand the science versus reality, right? When you're outside, everything gets breaking down. It breaks down faster, right? It's broken down faster, you know. You're outside, yeah, the elements work a little different than when you're outside, folks, than you're inside. Yeah, when you cough or sneeze when you're inside, you're in a closed environment. When you're outside, you're in an open environment. What the hell is that? Can you figure out the science? I mean, you don't need a PhD to figure that one out, folks. Apparently, this new generation that we have here in America is more dumbfounded than the generation before that generation. But here now, there's people from various news groups are in New York City, and they're asking people what their opinion is on the new CDC guidance on masks outdoors. These are folks in New York, mostly liberal areas. So you're going to get a mixture of reaction, folks. Listen to this crap. Check this out.
Whether you've been vaccinated or not, I have been vaccinated twice, but as you can see, I'm still wearing my mask, and I'm going to continue to.
And
yeah, so that was a mixed reaction from a New Yorker in New York. Basically, giving his so speak opinion, so to speak, on what he's gonna do. I guess he's still gonna put a mask on. He's gonna double mask, according to Dr. Fauci, the highest fucking paid federal employee which is crazy. This man gets more money than the actual president. Yeah, so you're telling me this guy gets more money than Biden? Just to go on the Congress floor and make a couple little press conferences and appearances. Folks, make sure you wear 2 masks. By the summertime, you'll be wearing 3. And then he'll be scratching his head understanding why people are passing out in 80, 90, 100 degree weather. Oh yeah, it's coming. We're in the month of April, right? By July and August, when you start seeing people passing out on the side of the road, mainly in hot states like Texas, Florida, Alabama, parts of southern Georgia, parts of Carolinas, right? When you start seeing people passing out on the side of the road, yeah, then you could scratch your head saying, why are they passing out? Oh, I don't know. Because you had the Dr. Hack over there, Fauci, telling people to put 3-4 masks on. Yeah, put 4 or 5 masks on. Even though you're vaccinated, you still have to wear a mask. That's your government, folks. That's your government. With those words, folks, we'll be right back after these words. You don't want to go anywhere. We got a heated show for you today. A lot of cool topics. Be right back after these words, folks. Hey guys, this episode today is brought to you by Spotify. Spotify, guys, head over to Spotify and you can find this podcast, the Patriot Angle Podcast, on Spotify, as well as thousands upon thousands of other podcasts such as this podcast. Also, if you're into regular music, you can find music on Spotify. Spotify, guys, is just a cutting-edge music and podcast platform. Head over there, guys. You'll love it. Hey, guys. Welcome back. Welcome back to the show. Hope you like that little plug that I did with the Lyft driver. I tell you what, I didn't know that woman personally, guys, but that woman was spitting some really good politics, man. Some personal opinions on her belief of what is basically going down in the government today. Crazy Biden empire, of a lot of people calling it that. Here's another article coming out of Breitbart, guys. Breitbart News, Breitbart.com, their political section. A report just in. Yeah, a report just in, guys. Listen to this. That Joe Biden, listen to this. Joe Biden is to propose free preschool for 5 million children and speech to Congress. Yeah, that's his next little article here. He's gonna propose a free preschool for 5 million children in his next speech to Congress. Yeah, President Joe Biden will reportedly propose a $200 billion proposal to provide free preschool for 5 million 3- and 4-year-old children in his next speech to a joint session of Congress later on today, according to the Associated Press that put that report out earlier today. So basically it says that these investments will give American children a head start and pave the way for the best educated generation in U.S. history, according to the administration. The details of the $200 billion plan are incomplete, he says, as of right now, but the plan is believed to be a part of a $1.8 trillion Americans Families Plan, of what he's calling it, which focuses on human infrastructure. And basically, the reports indicate that the human infrastructure includes childcare, healthcare, and education. Oh, and there's more, folks. Listen to this. The plan is not part of Biden's $2.25 Trojan horse infrastructure proposal that goes beyond traditional items that the radical lefts, like Senator Christian Gillibrand, Democrat from New York, believes, and this is what she says, and I quote, should be included in future infrastructure laws, according to the Democrat there in New York. The $200 billion plan, folks, is reported to be paid by taxing the rich, but not those who make less than $400,000 a year. Folks, if you make over $150,000 a year, you're not considered rich anymore? When the hell did that get drawn out? So people that are making $200,000, $300,000, and less than $400,000, I guess they're not considered rich anymore. According to his plan, it just says, I'll repeat the thing, the $200 billion plan that Biden is going to roll out, he's basically saying will be reported to be paid by taxing the rich, but not those who make less than $400,000 a year. So the ones that make less than $400,000 a year, between that $120,000 to like $380,000, $90,000, they won't be taxed at a higher bracket. Yeah. Okay. And it goes on here. Listen to this crap now. Check this out. The top income tax bracket for those households earning beyond $400,000 is expected to revert to 39.6%, according to a Democratic aide granted anonymity to discuss the planning, according to the Associated Press. However, with the Senate at a 50-50 impasse with 60 votes needed to pass in Congress, it is unknown how American Families Plan will pass in the Senate. Biden could attempt to work with the Senate to use a tactic of basically reconciliation to pass the measure like the Democrats have signaled that would have the case of $2.25 trillion infrastructure package. Whoa, let me stop it right there. Not only is this president wanting to roll out more crazy scenarios as policies, but we clearly see it, folks. This is a president that wants to bankrupt your country. He wants to tax the shit out of you as a taxpayer. I went into earlier in the conversation on other podcasts is now he wants to tax people that pay or have stock plans. Yeah, he wants to tax that at a 5% increase. So people that have stock plans, usually people that work for large corporations, you know, the big box giants out there, Walmart, Amazon, all those big box giants that have the good stock plans, the employee stock plans, he wants to now increase it by 5%. Yeah, 5%, guys. Aren't you already paying taxes into the stock plan for your employer? If this passes, God willing, I hope it doesn't, but if this passes, not only are you going to be doubled or possibly triple taxed on your stocks, what's the point of even having a stock plan, right? Folks, this guy is, this Biden character, Sleepy Joe, Basement Joe, whatever the hell you want to call him, he's out of control, guys. Out of control. We are literally, definitely living in a monarchy of a government. Literally. If we have to suffer from masking, and Dr. Fauci out there say that the infections are too high to let kids go out unmasked. Yeah, that's the next topic. Oh, did you hear that? Oh, let me get into that one right here. Dr. Fauci is now saying that the infection levels are too high to let children go outside unmasked. Ugh, God. What the hell is going on? Does this government want kids to suffer from social distress? Let me ask that again. When I grew up in the 80s, in the early 90s, we went outside, your mother knew where you were going. When the street light came on, you better get your ass home, right? Because it was dinner time. Your mother and your father knew every parent on the block, right? You didn't have to deal with nut jobs and lunatics that you have to deal with today on a daily basis. Everybody knew each other then. We were all friendly, you know. Summer cookouts, barbecues in the summertime, in the spring, and Memorial Day and all that good stuff. But you didn't have to deal with half the crap now. Now these kids, folks, I want to get into this next article here. Now these kids, folks, are suffering from social distress. And what do I mean by that, social distress? You have, and they're suffering from it because you have these political hacks that are now telling parents that they can't allow their children to go outside because of high-risk infections from COVID-19. What the fuck? Oh, man, I feel bad for this next generation, folks. I really do. I feel bad for the next generation because they're suffering. They're suffering from social distress. You gotta, I mean, listen to this. Listen to this political hack of a crazy man. I'm sorry for getting a little abrupt here, but this boils my bloodstream, guys. Literally boiling it. And you got to listen to this sound clip here. We're going to plug it in here. Sound clip number 3, please.
I'm happy to have Dr. Anthony Fauci with us tonight. He's the director of National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases at the National Institute of Health. And I know, Dr. Fauci, you're distinct from the CDC, but because you're part of the team advising on this, just talk us through the process that produces this kind of guidance like the one that was released today.
Well, it's a realization of, relative risk. It has become very clear when you look at the data.
Very clear.
And as I've said so many times,
Typical
the
New Yorker.
CDC is a science-based organization, and they will likely and almost always make a decision or a recommendation based on either data or modeling.
Data?
Or expert opinion.
Is that a word?
And the data became clear.
Data.
That the risk of being outdoors is very low. If you are vaccinated, it's extremely low. So they decided as they did.
Whoa, put it on pause there for a minute. If you're you hear the words coming from this political hack? If you're vaccinated, the risks are extremely low. You heard his words, right, folks? If you are vaccinated, now this is coming just basically this was on Tuesday's broadcast of MSNBC's, right? All In. Okay, that was on the broadcast this past Tuesday with the political doctor there, Fauci, saying, and I'll quote, you just heard him, right? Basically say it. If you are vaccinated, the risks are extremely low. They're extremely low according to the doctor. But if you're vaccinated, folks, he still wants you wearing 2 masks. What? What? I don't know. Listen to more of this crap. You check this out.
The statement and the recommendation that vaccinated people indoors with another vaccinated person does not have to wear a mask and can have physical contact. There have been a lot of questions about what can you do outdoors, and it's very clear now, as you showed on
Very
the
clear.
chart, Chris, that there are many things that common sense likely would have told you you can do that have now essentially been codified.
First of all, common sense? Are you kidding me? Common sense went out the window a long time ago with this presidential administration and their team of CDC experts. Yeah. According to the CDC, let me stop it right there. I'll plug a little bit more into the show as we're going through this article here. I happen to live near one of the largest CDC science labs on the eastern seaboard of America here, which happens to be located in downtown Atlanta. Yeah, your CDC, and where this Dr. Fauci sometimes works out of, is science labs in downtown Atlanta, Georgia, of one of the largest CDC science labs in the country of the U.S. Yeah. They're saying now, common sense. Folks, common sense? They should be ashamed of themselves for even saying the word common sense. Folks, common sense, you don't see common sense in this administration. You see stupidity at all-time highs, and you see a national embarrassment of just this stupid rhetoric of policy that they lay out. But according to Dr. Fauci, if you use common sense, you should be okay. I'm going to listen to more of this. Check this out.
Where you have an organization made up of the best epidemiologists in the world have come to the conclusion that the risk is so low that you can do the kind of things outdoors if you were vaccinated. And then as you see on the other side of the chart, they contrast and compare it with things that you can do and then things that are a bit risky if you still are unvaccinated. So the message that I see in that, Chris, is get vaccinated. Get vaccinated, A, because it's going to protect you, protect your family, and help protect society. But also it'll open up to you the kind of things to know that you're doing them really quite safely. So it's a good thing all around what's been done. And what you're going to see, Chris, is that as the weeks go by and more data are collected about individuals who are vaccinated, if they may get infected without symptoms, how low is the level of virus in the nasopharynx? Is it so low that they almost certainly would not affect someone else? You might see an upgrading of the recommendations to go even further. So this is another step in the right direction of how we can start getting back to normal.
Getting back to normal. Let me stop it right there. Getting back to normal. You know, I'm going to talk. Oh, boy. You know, it. Hold on, guys. I'm gonna get there. Hold on. I'm trying to understand what he's trying to say. Okay. Dr. Fauci says, I think it's the same contents that we just discussed at about the level in the community. But right now, there's a level high enough that the CDC would feel very uncomfortable. We cannot allow children to go without masks. We need to encourage parents to do still the virtual learning at home. You know, instead of kids going to school like kids should be, you know, back in the 80s when I went to school, right? I was a kid. My mother let me be a kid. Go outside, play in the mud, get your hands dirty, you know. If I had a little sniffle, I would want like a Robitussin or something. Back then we used to call it Jewish penicillin, right? Which was a can of Campbell's soup and a lukewarm bath. My mother used to call it Jewish penicillin. God rest your soul, Ma. I love you. Thank you for raising me with common sense theory, unlike these stupid bastards of parenting today. But anyway, yeah, that was common sense. My mother would want me to go outside and play in the dirt and mud, build up my immune system. My mother wasn't a parent that believed in medication, believed in vaccines. I had a simple headache, I would have to take a Tylenol or something like that. My mother was never like that. She was never over dramatic and everything else. But now you have kids today, parents today that medicate their children on every little level, and I think by the time the kid gets to be about 20, 30, 40 years old, when he's a grown-ass man or woman, you know, whatever. Yeah, when he... Did you see what I just did right there? When he is either a grown-ass woman or a man, because that's another thing we're suffering from today. Kids today, they don't know what their sex is. Yeah, I plugged that into my show a couple episodes back. Listen to that one. Oh, that one's really interesting. That's parents telling people such as shows as liberal shows such as The View and Dateline NBC that it's okay to tell your children what sex they would like to be at the age of 1-2 years old. What? Folks, this is the society we live in today. It's just downright crazy. It's downright crazy. It's idiotic. But this is coming from the doctor here, the doctor that's telling everybody that when we get back to normal, everything will be okay. Well, we like to know when we're going to be okay, Fauci. We're going to like to be okay when are we going to get back to normal? When are we going to get back to normal? When are we going to get back to normal without wearing masks? I want to plug in another video clip of actually Senator Ron Paul, excuse me, I had it backwards. You know, see, sometimes you talk, you get things backwards. It's okay. But yeah, Senator Ron Paul basically having a heated discussion with Dr. Fauci over masks and social distancing of COVID-19 era. Yeah, he's demanding Dr. Fauci of when the mass lockdowns and the restrictions are going to be lifted. Yeah, listen to this crap. Oh God, you're going to listen to this guy. Listen, this is now a Senator, Ron Paul, blowing up over Dr. Fauci over masks during a Senate hearing. He's demanding the doctor to give answers right now to when we're going to get back to normalization, and the doctor couldn't even give a simple straight answer. Listen to this crap. The doctor couldn't even get a simple straight answer, guys. This is exactly what Americans are getting fumed about. These are political hacks of government that don't even know. They can't even believe their own lies, folks. I really applaud the senator right now. I'm going to plug it into my show. I will plug it in, okay? Of now demanding Dr. Fauci on a Senate floor when we're going to get back to normal. Listen to this. Check this out, guys.
Dr. Fauci, in a recent British study, David Wiley and others found that no symptomatic reinfections from COVID-19 after following 2,800 patients for several months. In fact, there have been no reports of significant numbers of reinfections after acquiring COVID-19 naturally. Shane Crotty, a virologist at La Jolla Institute for Immunology, concludes from his experiments that the amount of immune memory gained from natural infection would likely prevent the vast majority of people from getting hospitalized disease, severe disease, for many years. In this study, which was published in Science, Dr. Crotty showed that antibody levels stayed relatively constant with only modest declines over 6 to 8 months. Dr. Crotty reported that notably memory B cells specific for the spike protein or RBD were detected in almost all COVID-19 cases with no apparent half-life at 5 to 8 months after infection. In other words, Dr. Crotty found significant evidence of long-term immunity after COVID infection. Furthermore, Dr. Crotty noted B cell memory to some other infections has been observed for as long as 60 plus years after smallpox vaccination, or even 90 years after a natural infection with influenza. That was a woman who got the Spanish flu, still showed immunity 90 years later. So rather than being pessimistic towards people gaining immunity after they've had COVID or had a vaccine, studies argue for significant optimism. In fact, there have been no scientific studies arguing or proving that infection with COVID does not create immunity.
Now,
Hi guys, this is the Rooster from the Patriot Angle Podcast. This episode is sponsored by Podbay.fm. You can go there to stream thousands of podcasts, as well as this podcast, the Patriot Angle Podcast. Tune in, guys, and we'll see you next week on the show. But remember, Podbay.fm.
So basically what they're talking about here is you have Ron Paul basically going over science studies of not only COVID-19, but going over science theories, true fact science theories. Yeah, fact check that, independent fact checkers on Facebook and Twitter. Your little hot pockets and living in your mama and daddy's basement. I don't like what he's saying, so I'm going to fact check him because it doesn't sound right. Doesn't sound right. It's science, but it doesn't sound right. Sorry, I'm doing a little speech impression, but that's how they sound. That's how they sound. When they don't agree with you, yeah, full-grown adults in their 20s and sometimes 30s and 40s. It's really embarrassing, folks. that you have fact checkers that have to fact check everything. Yeah, the fact checker is gonna. You know what? You go plug that. Before I go further into this this little heated debauchery of Fauci and Ron Paul going over the mask mandates and the science scenarios, right? And you're gonna hear Dr. Fauci going over his science theory. According to Dr. Fauci, which is the virus and respiratory illness expert in the country. Yeah, the highest paid federal employee of the country. He's going to give his aspect and his theory on masking. But we just heard true stuff from Ron Paul spitting science over this. Not only COVID-19, but any respiratory virus. If you catch a virus, not only is your immune system, okay, because we have antibodies, natural antibodies in your body. They're called lipnoids. Look them up, guys. It's actually true. The more you get sick, the more you're making your body more immune to those diseases. So the chances of getting another cold or another respiratory or any type of illness in the next couple days is slim to none. Because you're not only are you supercharging your body, but you're making your body more immune to future respiratory viruses. So when they say that, oh, you got COVID-19, you can catch it again, they're actually they're not really telling you the truth of any type of virus or a respiratory illness. If you catch COVID-19, the chances of you catching it again are slim to none, because you just basically supercharged your body with anti-natural antibodies in your body. Excuse me, I'm looking for the words there. But you understand what I'm getting through. So here, let's fast forward a little bit, and we can hear the doctor now and the heated conversation between Fauci and Ron Paul. Fauci can't even answer a simple question, folks. This is how and where the lies are being exposed. It's being exposed right on the Senate floor. Listen to this crap. Check this out. Here's the lies being exposed to the American people about this Dr. Fauci guy. Listen to this crap. You got to listen to this. Listen.
What you're saying about masks and reinfection. We're talking about people who have never been infected before.
You're telling everybody to wear a mask, whether they've had an infection or a vaccine. What I'm saying is they have immunity, and everybody agrees they have immunity. What studies do you have that people who've had the vaccine or have had the infection are spreading the infection? If we're not spreading the infection...
See what I'm talking about? He can't even answer a simple question. Oh, here we go with the theater again. Here we go with the theater. The theater about wearing masks. The theater. Yeah, you gotta be... Yeah, everybody thinks we're showing it because of theater. I'm vaccinated and I still wear a mask because of theater. You wear a mask because you're a simple-minded moron. Which you should be a national embarrassment as a scientist. You don't know jack shit about science, but according to your theories, you know everything about masking and social distancing, right? Yeah, full of shit. I don't want to hear it. Anyway, guys, like I said, it was going to be a heated topic. We got into some scenarios. I know I repeat some stuff here on the show from time to time, but we all do that, folks. We all have to repeat it sometimes because we're still in the same scenario that we are in, that we were 13 months ago. We're repeating the same scenario from the last 13 months. Oh, we should be wearing a mask. We shouldn't wear a mask. We can't go into a restaurant without a mask. You got to wear a mask when you go in the restaurant, but when you sit down, you don't have to wear a mask. Apparently, COVID doesn't spread in a restaurant. You know, some restaurants offer drive-through service. Some restaurants offer dine-in service. Yeah, that's how you can tell which ones are the liberals versus the correct ones. You know, it's just stupid, guys. It's stupid. Common sense, like I said, went out the window a long time ago. When Trump left office, that's when you lost common sense. Yeah, and it's a national embarrassment of what's going on. Anyway, guys, thank you for tuning into today's show. As always, we'll see you on the next one.
You just heard an episode of the Patriot Angle Podcast, an Anchor platform.